People started fighting, people were yelling, people were crying.
Watch this and we'll talk.
The Tyson facility in Joslin is shutting down, leaving more than 2,500 people scrambling. This is the letter those workers got this afternoon confirming the plant's permanent closure. Workers will get paid for the next 2 months, but the job some have leaned on for years is gone. The Tyson Foods plant is located in Joslin. That plant began operations in 1983 under the ownership of Iowa Beef Processors. You can tell by the map it was a central part to the local and regional economy. But why is a company that's called the area home for so long closing its doors with next to no notice? Well, the breadcrumbs were public as of about 10 days ago on the company's earnings call. Tyson told shareholders they expect losses around $650 million this fiscal year in its beef processing sector alone. Company officials claim cattle shortages and high livestock costs are to blame for that massive loss. But that reasoning doesn't do much for the workers who now only have a few weeks to find where their next paycheck is coming from. KDBQC's Elizabeth Ruggiero talked to some of those workers who learned their career at Tyson was over.
For decades, the Tyson complex in Joslin has been the heartbeat of this community, but that beat went silent this afternoon. As workers arrived for their shift, they weren't sent to the production line. They were funneled into the cafeteria to receive a letter that many say felt like a betrayal.
People started fighting, people were yelling, people were crying. I know people that have been here for 30 plus years. I know people that have been here as little as 3 days.
Tyson says the decision comes down to economics, rising beef prices, and lack of cattle. But for the 2,700 people who work behind these gates, the why doesn't matter as much as the what now.
Nope. That news story obviously continues, but I wanted to jump in there because you heard why this plant in Illinois is closing. It's a Tyson beef processing plant, not poultry processing plant. And it just closed down. People showed up to work and got a letter, we're done. There was no advance warning. And as you can see on the sales earnings calls, they're saying that Tyson is saying that they're going to lose $600 million in their beef processing plants alone due to lack of cattle and rising beef prices. That's what Tyson is saying is the reason this plant is going to close. But that doesn't stop the Republicans here in Illinois from blaming it on Democrats and J.B. Pritzker. This Facebook page, called DeKalb Illinois Issues, is a right-wing Republican, anti-J.B. Pritzker, anti-Illinois Democratic page. And you can see here what they wrote. Breaking. The Tyson Foods facility in Rock Island County abruptly ceases operation. Over 2,500 jobs are gone. Another victim of Illinois Democrats and J.B. Pritzker's awful business climate. Financial losses. Tyson reported heavy operating losses, some of which can be attributed to the high cost of doing business in Illinois and high taxes. But Tyson never mentioned the high cost of doing business in Illinois. As a matter of fact, in talking about the closure in Joslin, Illinois, the company, Tyson, stated as follows. The company will end operation at its Joslin, Illinois beef facility and its Eagle Mountain, Utah case remedy facility. Capacity from these locations will be moved to more strategically located facilities with ample capacity to grow. Additionally, Tyson Foods is pursuing the sale of its Pasco, Washington beef facility. With these changes, the company will ramp back up a second shift in Amarillo, Texas facility as cattle becomes available. Collectively, these changes will allow the company to maintain a similar level of cattle harvesting across a more efficient and modern network. So did Illinois Democrats and J.B. Pritzker cause the closing in Utah and the attempted sale in Washington state as well? No, they didn't, because that's not what happened at all. High cost of operating per Tyson wasn't Illinois' business environment or their taxes, just like they didn't mention the cost of doing business in either Utah or Washington. They talked about the high cost of cattle. Illinois Democrats and J.B. Pritzker did not cause cattle to cost more. But I'll tell you, I know something that did. President Donald Trump is blaming the meat packers and U.S. cattlemen for rising beef prices, but the tariffs on beef from Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Uruguay, feed farm equipment and machinery are all adding to the price surge. The United States is a big buyer of Australian, Brazilian, and New Zealand beef exports. Brazil is the second largest beef producing country and the largest beef exporting country in the world. Brazilian beef exports, tracked by Panjiva, plummeted in July and August after multiple tariffs resulted in a layered 76.4% total rate being implemented for Brazilian beef. Trump imposed a 50% tariff rate for many Brazilian goods in July. Beef exports have found a new home, being delivered to other markets like China. Exports of beef from Australia, New Zealand, and Uruguay to the U.S. have also decreased as a result of tariffs. The pullback in exports has reduced supply and adding pressures in an already tight U.S. beef supply chain. So to recap, Donald Trump puts tariffs on a shit ton of countries and products from those countries. The companies stop importing that beef because now it's way more expensive, causing us to have a much lower supply of beef and the price for beef to go way up. Tyson responds by closing plants in both Democratic and Republican states. And Trump supporting Republicans go, see, it's all J.B. Pritzker and the Democrats' fault. Make it make sense.